Hello and welcome back to a Journey to King's Cross, a Harry Potter book podcast. Today we are doing chapter 17, The Man with Two Faces, the final chapter in the first book of the Harry Potter series and everything. We might have to change up our background image to something a little bit more flavorful towards the air of Slytherin and everything, considering we'll be opening the Chamber of Secrets in a couple of weeks. Right after this chat, after we're done with this one, we're gonna probably have like either a Thursday or a Sunday or whenever Kimmy can drag her butt over here and everything, and we can watch through and do the riff tracks, our version of riff tracks. We'll be doing a little bit of riffing for the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone movie and everything, and We'll try to have everything synced up and everything. It's not something we've done before, so this will be a learning process. So I do.
Don't get mad at us. Bear with us.
We're doing our best. Oh, maybe if I actually make $1 or $2 off of this or something along those lines off of YouTube, we can fund in some soundproofing and everything, and maybe put a little bit more effort into our overall production quality. But until then, this is just a work of love and affection and a couple of friends getting together to go over the actual books and stuff. Anyway, let's talk about the Two-Faced Man in more ways than one.
It was Quirrell all along!
Color me shocked.
Spoilers.
The freaking crybaby himself was actually the one responsible for all of this. Who knew?
And I love how Harry, towards somewhere in the book, was like, I should have seen it.
Bitch,
you had just gotten thrown in like 24 hours ago that, oh, Harry, you're a wizard.
Yeah, but Harry seems like the type of person that would kick himself.
Referring to, of course, the point that he's like, oh yeah, I saw Quirrell in Diagon Alley. I met him that day. But, like, everybody wanted to shake his hands.
Yeah.
Like, that is one of the little changes they make, though, is that in this version he does shake his hand in the book and everything. So, we can confirm that Voldemort was not on the back of his head at that point in time.
It was just Quirrell.
How unfortunate.
Poor stuttering Professor Quirrell.
I have to admit, though, like, this is definitely I would consider this, like, out of all of the twists for, like, each of the books and everything up to Deathly Hallows, because Deathly Hallows doesn't really have, like, a twist. Obviously, Voldemort's final boss and everything. This is definitely this is definitely a good twist. Like, if you look at the Harry Potter franchise as a whole, it's definitely mystery novels kind of gussied up as childhood, adventure stories.
Well, of course. I totally zoned out.
You had,
She looked down, and then the ADHD hit her.
So in this, when he has his confrontation with Voldemort, like, knows that Harry was lying. And he knew that, like,
snitch.
Harry would be the one, like, that Quirrell should use Harry. So throughout all of this interaction, Quirrell was he was facing away from Harry, which means Voldemort was looking straight at Harry, potentially in Harry's eyes.
Depending on how
he
thick
could
that
read
could.
Harry's mind.
Oh, fuck.
He knew that Harry was thinking, oh, all I want to do is get the stone
legend
away from you. So he's like, aha, Harry will be able to use the mirror properly.
It was probably
Good
Legilimens.
Yeah, that
I
spell.
It was like oculancy.
No, that's the protection.
No, it's whatever spell.
Legilimens is reading a person's mind. Occlumency lessons were how to defend against
I can't pronounce it, okay? That's the thing. But
magic mind reading.
Voldemort was doing that.
And then Harry is like, oh, I have the stone in my pocket. And Voldemort's like, you've got it in your pocket. Because how else would he have known?
Yeah,
I feel like Voldemort was also screwing with Quirrell, to be perfectly honest, over the course of this whole thing, because the instant he knew, he probably could have been like, dude, Harry's got it in his pocket, would you mind? He's such a, like, Tom is so freaking dramatic in terms of, like, his showmanship and shit.
He literally changed his name, used all of his own letters to create Lord Voldemort.
I
am Lord Voldemort.
Frickin' spoilers! We're not in book 2 yet. And this is the
Well, then don't call him Tom!
Details.
talk about spoilers, you're spoiling shit first.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I love how this whole time we've been ragging on the Dumbledore. Like, he's clearly setting Harry up. He's fucking doing it. And then, like, at some point in the chapter, they made some comment.
Very specifically.
Dumbledore was like, "Oh, you did do the thing
about
properly."
Nicholas Flamel. You did do the thing
I was
properly.
like, you what? I was like, you what? I
So
was like, you bastard!
The whole
there
time.
are so many little things you two have forgotten about the books and stuff.
Yes, and then later Ron and Hermione are telling them, oh yeah, we ran into him in the Owlery, and he's like, Harry went to the 3rd floor, and he was just like pottered off, or whatever Dumbledore
didn't need to
said.
explain shit.
Pottered off.
Pattered is what I said, but I don't know what
Tottered off?
Tottered off, whatever.
I think they said he ran.
Whatever, he headed off to the 3rd floor, and I was like...
Hurtled off.
I was like, he 100% had this fucking planned. 100%, and we completely forgot about that detail.
In my defense, it's been a...
Mitchell is
been
making
before,
little air circle things, and I'm going to smack him. So if it suddenly gets quiet...
Punctured by a loud, fleshy sound, you'll know.
So, I also... Hagrid writes to all of Harry's parents' school friends, right?
The DA.
Probably, but also, like, why couldn't they, like, write letters talking about Harry's family, like, his parents?
Yeah.
Talking about, like, these are what your parents are like. Like, I feel like that's...
Not the DA, the Order.
Yeah.
The Order.
Eh.
But yeah, where are the letters?
Like,
Honestly,
that would have been so much more meaningful, I think, to him, like, hearing about his parents in school.
let's be honest, this would have been, like, the perfect time to, like, name drop Remus Lupin. Like, oh yeah, like, you know, over the course of, like, at some point in either the beginning of this book or the end of this book or the beginning of the next one, he was like, yeah, he spent a good chunk of the time going over, like, the picture book and finding some actual letters where people were talking about his parents. And that would probably, like, have, like, balanced out the James Potter hate that is currently, like, going on through the actual fandom and everything, if they had the opportunity for people who actually saw the good in the man to actually have, like, small stories and snippets about, like, some of the cool things that, and the kind of things that James did during his time at Hogwarts and what little time he had after.
Yeah, because I feel like everything that we find out about James
Is that he was a dick.
is mostly that
And
he
good at
was a
Quidditch.
dick. Yeah.
A lot of the good things that he does is stuff that you gotta hunt for, basically. Like, being a part of the the Order of the Phoenix and everything, which were, you know...
Standing up for Sirius. That,
Yeah,
it's
like,
all
taking
briefly
his,
mentioned.
Yeah,
It's
and
brushed
paying
over.
for Remus's, like, living expenses and stuff to make sure that his best friend wasn't fucking homeless and shit.
Yeah.
Like-
Serious.
No,
No,
Sirius
for
paid
them?
for himself.
Yeah.
Remus is a werewolf and he can't keep a job.
Sirius could pay for his own way, but Sirius was getting...
But he got cut off from his family, didn't he?
Yeah, but he still had the Potters to live on for
Yeah.
a little while
Yeah.
before going out and doing his own thing.
But either way,
Right.
but yeah.
But yeah, he was helping out Sirius and Remus, but like all of the good things are just like mentioned in passing, but like they really hound on how much of a dick James was.
You get-
it
you
would have
get
been a
first-
good name drop, but also, like, I doubt she had created the name for Werewolf McWerewolf yet.
Probably not.
But to be fair, though, you could have easily, like, put in a couple of extra names of friends or the gravestones, which apparently that's what she does. A lot of, like, the really cool names, like Sirius Black and stuff, are apparently names on gravestones and stuff near the cemetery she was nearby when she was actually writing the book. Apparently it's become quite a bit of a problem because a lot of Harry Potter fans will go there as
Found
sort
out
of
about
as like a pilgrimage and everything to
Jeez.
actually see them and everything.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That,
let the dead lie, damn it. I think it's an interesting detail and everything. And she wouldn't have known while she was like
No.
creating these characters and everything.
That's more of a harp on just humanity in general.
And to be fair, we could go down that rabbit hole, to be perfectly
Look.
honest, but let's not.
If there's a tombstone that actually reads Sirius Black, then that's better than actually naming your freaking character Black Dog, okay? And then making him become a black dog.
Dog Black.
I'm sorry.
Dog
Dog
Black.
Black.
Dog Black.
Technically Star Dog Black, but whatever.
To be fair, like, her naming conventions for a lot of the characters and stuff are, like, so on the nose for like who they are and how they work and stuff along those lines in certain times. And you know what I mean?
In
Like
all fairness,
she
what
has
teen
very
writer hasn't done that?
to me, yeah. Most writers do not have naming creativity. Case in point, me.
I wasn't gonna say it.
I'm an amateur writer and everything, and I suck at names. I started working on like the first draft for my second book and everything while I'm working through like cleaning up the first book and everything, and I still haven't figured out a bloody frickin' name for the second book just yet. I don't even know if what I'm gonna call the damn series properly.
This shit is on fire.
I mean, to be fair, I do keep my main characters running around.
This ship is on fire.
A distinct possibility. But yeah, back
it's a pirate novel.
Back onto the actual story. The confrontation is they like I know they give like fucking Quirrell a lot of shit in the future and everything, but wandless, wordless, like he's wandless and wordless magic basically. He does not say a spell in order to shoot out the ropes, and he doesn't use his wand to summon or dismiss them in the slightest.
He uses his hand.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, even when he's going to kill Harry, it doesn't say his wand's in his hand. He just says he raises his hand to cast a deadly curse.
Says he clapped his hands once, and the ropes binding him fell off, and then
like almost every single one of the top Death Eaters and stuff need a wand and spell names in order to actually fight an attack like the DA and the Order of the Phoenix and everything.
To be fair, they did mention that Quirrell was a genius. He
was
a really young teacher and meant to be a genius at Defense Against the Dark Arts. So it would make sense that he could do some top magic. Apparently,
he was originally the teacher for Muggle studies, apparently, before he went off to go get some in-universe... Like, he was a great book scholar, but he had no hands-on experience when it came to the dark arts, and hence why he went out to go learn things and ended up calling under the sway. But you also need to realize, he's surviving off of unicorn blood right now. So, he's feeding himself and the fucking leech that is...
parasite on the back of his head.
Yeah. We have no idea if unicorn blood would make your magic powers enhanced.
Yeah.
Or a cursed life weaken them severely. This could be a severely weakened version of Quirrell running around right now. And that could be a terrifying thought if he managed to get Voldemort back his full body and ended up learning from Voldemort while already being this skilled as a wizard. Because nobody else displays this level of skill and ability on, as Harry called it earlier, the dark side. Even Voldemort needs the name of, frickin' his killing curse in order to activate it half the damn time. Unless he's just being dramatic.
I feel like the killing curse is one of the few that you have to audibly say.
So here's how I interpreted that, especially knowing that the in-universe background on Quirrell is that he used to be Muggle studies. Let's say the unicorn blood does weaken him. He raised his hand. It says to perform a deadly curse, but
he could have had his wand in his hand.
He could have, but who's not to say he's not going to just wring Harry's neck right there and just do it, Muggle school.
Smack him in the head.
That's the movie speaking.
Karate chop.
To be fair, in the movies he does lurch forward to grab him.
But in here it says Harry by instinct reached up and grabbed Quirrell's face, so they are still very close. Also, by instinct.
Well, Harry's got no options, really. He's got a fight or flight response, and he can't fly.
Hold on. I'm harping on her word choice there. I wouldn't have said by instinct. I would have probably
without
said...
thinking.
Without thinking.
Impulsive
reacting.
Because you don't instinctively grab somebody's face in a fight.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't
have any experience in fights.
Yeah.
I do sometimes wonder if he had some sort of subconscious understanding that he had some sort of protection.
I'm gonna punch Quirrell in the face, but grabbed his face instead.
Yeah, to be perfectly to be fair, you could there's a lot of things that are probably, if Rowling were to go back over the book and tighten up a couple of things and stuff, there would be some aspects
changes
that would be changed over.
If I remember, and we can mention this when we do the commentary on the movie, I do feel like that might have been something the movie did slightly better. Is because, like, I feel like Harry, like, Quirrell started having issues or falling to dust or whatever, and Harry looked at his hands and then went, face!
Yeah.
He's like,
Ironically enough, a lot of people
do that?
comment about the fact that Harry should, at this point in time, be able to see the Thestrals. But the excuse being is that he's unconscious for the actual death of him, basically. And I'm like,
right.
That's really splitting hairs.
That really is. But also, like, in the movie, we see him turn to dust. But in the book, Dumbledore says Voldemort left him to die. So, I keep saying Voldemort. Quirrell could have still been alive, and Dumbledore's just like, peace, bro.
You gotta watch the moment the soul departs this body.
Fucking hell, man. I swear, I never knew a magical force could be so fucking specific on how it operates.
But even still, I feel like having...
hold the phone. Does that mean so that means magical animals don't count because the basilisk dies in book 2. And the spirit of that version of Tom Riddle died in the second one as well. And that didn't fucking count, apparently.
He was already dead. He wasn't fully back to life yet.
But also...
like, there's so... like,
his
it's
mom,
so very...
that...
He has memories of that death over in book 3, basically, as well.
Look, man, I don't know.
You can't see it, but I'm
Rowling
making a
doesn't
face.
know how to make rules make sense. We talked about this. Where are the rules in the magic? There aren't none.
Listen, if we can't harp on this, then there is no podcast. This is the whole point. We're going to harp on everything.
There's no consistency to anything.
Never.
Nothing is... everything's wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey.
Now to shoot myself in the foot and everything. Wow, the concept of magic being horribly inconsistent. What a concept.
Look, man.
At least Doctor Who understands that it is inconsistent.
Fair.
And it embraces it.
Look, man. There's literally nothing stopping anybody from doing any spell that could do literally anything then. There's no limit to how many spells you could cast continuously.
To be fair, I feel like there has to be some sort of physical drain in a sense. Because more often than not, if anybody's in a duel and everything, they are getting worn down. They are getting tired and stuff along those lines. They do feel fatigued to a degree. It really does kind of make me wonder exactly, like, because, you know, Rowling's, like, doesn't strike me as the type of individual who's too concerned with, like, the fighting aspect of,
yeah,
like,
they're not going to break down to
conflict.
fisticuffs.
Yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me.
Except for the few times they break down to fisticuffs.
Right. Yeah, but they're usually brief spigots of it. They're not like, this isn't exactly a boxing match in a sense.
I feel like that's just male testosterone gets the best of them at that.
Actually, no.
Oh no, that's right.
Hermione. Hermione and the other girl.
Oh wait.
Oh, and I'm not talking about Hermione punching Draco.
Oh,
I'm talking about Millicent.
Millicent Hermione was coming off the worst for that one, if I remember. She was getting sat on.
I'm just saying it was coming to fisticuffs.
I think a lot of them broke into full-out fights because they realized none of them could cast spells for some reason.
What's a spell? I don't know anymore.
But also, I just had a thought.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was trying to find my words. I had a thought that would make sense as to why magical duels would be exhausting. Think about our ADHD brain. How much do we have to think through to figure out where we're going? Right! That is exactly what would be going through their head. Oh shit, he's gonna cast a killing curse at me. What do I do to block this? Is it, is Expelliarmus? Is there a hex? Is there a shield? Like,
what if he doesn't cast that curse? What else could I do?
You're thinking too many things. You're going through, like, books in your head trying to figure out what spells.
In all fairness, I do agree with you on the fatigue thing, that it's probably physically draining. Unfortunately, we never see a situation where they're casting enough spells to see that, because usually it's spell, I'm running for my life, spell, maybe a spell, running for my life
and
constantly.
Like, the biggest fight, like, took place over a couple of days or something, and we're like, alright, we're gonna stop, collect your dead, collect your wounded.
I thought it was a couple of hours.
No, I mean, I feel like it was a long time.
No, it was measured in hours because they had so much time before Voldemort showed up. But Harry asked McGonagall to buy them as much time as possible in order to find the last Horcrux.
Yeah, but Harry was awake for
But
like
I
a day
also
or two,
remember
I think,
that there was still more. That was still longer than like.
I have no yeah, it was a long period of time and everything.
But it was still.
It was not.
Yeah.
It was not.
Like
it
a
was
day
not
or two. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm exaggerating and remembering it wrong, but it was still longer than the rest. To the point where they are like, all right, pause, we're going to take a break and recover.
To be fair, like, after a certain point in time, it was just, Harry was just running and gunning, basically, because he was just running out of it towards the end of the final book. But yeah, more often than not, usually he's getting knocked unconscious, like he is in this one, because he's close to death.
Running around.
Ironically enough, I think, out of all of the stories, I think, like, Chamber of Secrets is, like, one of the rare ones where he basically manages to get himself back to where he needs to be after finishing the problem. Because that's, like, I remember that explicitly where he's like, okay, cool, like, talks to Ginny about the whole situation, takes the sword, the hat, and just sort of walks over to McGonagall's office, basically. He's like, hey, Professor, what's up?
Flies off.
But yeah, he's under his own power.
Yeah,
but in all fairness, he did practically die, and then Fawkes revived him, and, like, when you heal like that, powered up again.
I'm gonna argue against myself even more because Book 4 has it so he's back under his own power as well.
Yeah, because he got back with the Portkey. Book 5.
I don't remember how no, he was conscious for 5 as well because
he saw all the reporters showing up, and then he's like, here, take this Portkey back to my office.
Yeah, and then
I
of
think
course
at that point he was probably just stunned.
Yeah, 6. And yeah, okay, never mind. I guess like this is the only one where he like this one and Book 3 are the only two where he loses consciousness at some point in time due to being attacked or something. To be fair, the Dementors were sucking his soul out in Book 3, and that's not exactly sounds like it'd be very fun.
And that wasn't even at the end.
Timey-wimey,
wibbly wobbly.
He used Expecto Patronum at the end. He was awake. You're right, he did pass out.
But that was technically the climax of the story right there.
Yeah, he passed out.
It just wasn't that version of him that...
Yeah.
He walked away from that, and he passed out at the exact same time.
Hey, theoretically...
It was his dad.
He still passed out.
But anyway, we're getting off track.
Right. Let's get back. Okay,
I honestly don't have much more to wrap up with this book.
Really? Okay, fine. You can just be...
I had a brief moment while we were listening to it, and I was like, why is Dumbledore saying Mr. Ronald Weasley? And then Miss Granger. And then I was like, right.
He's
7 Weasleys.
Yeah.
Gotta figure out which Weasley we're talking about. Could you imagine someone sending you a toilet seat while you're in the hospital wing?
That'd be hilarious.
That'd be fucking hilarious. And then unsanitary. So that begs the question, did they just go get his toilet seat from a bathroom?
Yes.
Probably.
Look, they said they were going to send it to Ginny. So they sent it to Harry instead.
It seems as though the twins thought it would be a very amusing joke. And I'm just sort of like, yeah, it checks out.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, we have a couple of minor things that I want to touch on with Voldemort, with him saying that his father fought bravely and everything. And I'm like, technically he was brave, but it wasn't really much of a fight. He didn't have his
after
wand.
telling him he was a coward who begged for his life.
Yeah, Voldemort's kind of willing to say whatever he needs to say in order to get his item, and good on Harry for seeing that is exactly what the fuck is happening.
But he did say, but your mother didn't need to die. He didn't say anything about the dad not needing to die, but his mom, was like, totally didn't need to die.
To be fair, he was going to kill James regardless.
Yeah.
He gave Lily the option to walk away.
So we've got, all of Voldemort's, touched on more or less and everything. The details. He already has the snake nose at this point in time. On the back of Quirrell. We're so used to thinking of the movie where he has the nose on the back of Quirrell and everything. Mm-hmm. He had a snake nose already.
Red eyes and everything.
Yeah, he's already in his final form. I bet
he really hoped that the diary would have panned out because he would have been handsome again.
Yeah, to be fair, that diary is a fucking piece of work compared to the rest of them. Like, the rest of the Horcruxes had some semblance of defensive measures to begin with. This thing was just flat out like, I'm going to, know what? No, that's totally, a discussion and diatribe for Book 2 and everything. I don't want to waste that train of thought.
Save it in your thoughts.
Because I have heard other people discussing this and everything. But
I have so many funny jokes to make about book 2.
fair enough.
Save 'em for book 2.
Put them in your notes on your phone.
They're there.
So let's see here. We naturally the whole school knows, quote and everything.
Naturally,
Dumbledore.
the whole school knows.
Dumbledore.
But I didn't know like the actual details.
Explanation. I love how like Harry's first impulse to be like, "Why did Voldemort want to kill me?" And he's like, "Oh." Fuck.
He's like,
Dumbledore's
yeah,
like,
question.
ask as many questions you want, but just by the way, there's certain things I can't tell you just yet. Just
why couldn't he touch me? Ah, shit.
Like the mother's love one and everything. That's actually kind of an I'm really surprised that had such a massive through line and everything. Most writers probably would have chalked that up to like training wheels or something along those lines for the hero's journey. But that being such a key, consistent plot point all the way up to the final chapter of the book.
She made it run.
Yeah, I have to admit, when we finally get to that point in like the final chapter, when Harry actually explains why Voldemort's been so fucking unsuccessful at killing people. My kids keep stealing that, by the
A
way.
lapras. It's a crochet lapras.
Oh yeah, like I keep popping up
It's
everywhere.
a very
Rose
derpy
seems
lapras. It did not. You can see it on my TikTok channel as a crochet fail.
Rose has actually been very offended that my son keeps stealing it and everything, thinking that I am upset about him stealing it and everything. And I'm like, just it's fine, Rose. You play with my stuff all the time as it is.
Daughter is very
doesn't
offended
want
by things.
him to have anything.
No.
He gets nothing.
She just wanted to take his Hot Wheels track and play with it. And I'm like, he's going to bed. You're not playing with it. You can play with it tomorrow with him.
She is very much mine when it comes to things.
Yes, she is.
And it's very infuriating because it's like, no, that's your off topic. Back to Dumbledore. We do get the the comment of like, oh, you did do the thing properly and everything.
Didn't he get giddy?
Yes,
he was so happy.
He like,
it's like, oh my god.
To be fair, he is a teacher and everything, and knowing that Harry did the proper research and everything was probably really like, oh my goodness, learning in this school, it's a bloody miracle.
That's true.
Considering how many comments
he makes.
he
More
makes.
of a McGonagall take on that.
I feel like McGonagall's just here for a paycheck at this point, with the amount of stress that she has to go through.
Yeah.
Is it worth it, though?
But she's the deputy headmistress. Somebody's got to keep Dumbledore in line.
She definitely retired the minute she heard that James Sirius was coming to school.
And Albus Severus, she's like, I'm out! I'm out! I'm out.
I'm the headmaster now. Somebody else can deal with this BS.
And not my problem.
Not my department anymore. But yeah, what else? Dumbledore going over like the every flavor beans. Alas, earwax. It's weird that this is.
He choked on it too. Also, how does he know what earwax tastes like?
Have you? Never mind. Fair enough. I already answered my own question before I asked it.
Moving on.
I've seen kids put shit in their mouth that you really shouldn't be going there and everything. So maybe the memory's still strong.
I have another example of Rowling can't math. For some reason, at the end of the school year, Gryffindor somehow only had, what was it? 322 points?
I can glance over and see if
I was curious the first few times I read this book when I was in school and I did the math, and it did line up correctly, but I think what you're thinking of is there's a point where they made a comment about
fourth place Gryffindor with 312 points. Third, Hufflepuff 352. Ravenclaw had 226, and Slytherin with 472.
Wait. No.
So
Harry got 60 points.
There were 160 points behind.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking.
How many points? Well, I guess it doesn't matter.
What are we?
The maths.
Okay.
Well, that's not our issue.
The point is that like, out of the entire school year, even with the 150 points that the three of them lost, that is not a lot of points throughout the school year. Like, considering you have in a single house, you have 7 years, and we did the math on this, about, what was it, 10?
Yeah.
10
Approximately
kids.
10 per age.
10 per
so you have
grade. At least 70 kids. At least.
Yeah.
70? Yes, 70 kids.
I'm glad you said that before I did, because my math to 700, and I don't know why.
outliers should all earn at least an average of 5 points a year. Obviously, there's
A day?
outliers.
If it's 5 points a year.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Should earn at least. I'm just saying, like, should be earning a decent amount of points.
Based off of what we've seen.
So few points.
If you earn a lot of points on your, like, if you're answering questions in class for participating.
Yeah, they just give you points.
Give 10 points per, like, Hermione gets,
Sometimes.
like
but,
10
like,
points.
if they're giving, like, 5 or 10 points, or even 20, but it's not, like, 1 or 2. So, yeah, I do
Sometimes
feel like it should be a little
get 1
higher.
or 2 points for questions, depending on the teacher.
Yeah.
But either way, it should be a lot higher.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, you do lose points and stuff by acting out and everything. I feel like
True.
Fred and George probably knocked them down quite a bit and everything.
Still.
But they don't have a Fred and George for every single freaking house.
Yeah, but
and
like a Percy and Hermione would
balance
get
it
you
out.
pretty high up there.
Yeah.
And that's even if it's not like ludicrously common and everything, good deeds, all like not extracurricular stuff or anything along those lines. If a teacher catches you doing
10
something
points
compassionate,
to Gryffindor for sheer dumb luck.
Yeah.
And I'm convinced I have heard that the freaking Quidditch scores, like how many points you get in Quidditch.
Yeah, I heard that
also
somewhere they match up
add-
to the House Cup.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that they
and
Yeah,
yeah,
so
'cause
that really should be a lot higher.
In one of the other books, they mention specifically how, because they say don't catch the snitch till we have this many points.
They mention it in this
because
book.
they need that many points to win the House
They
Cup.
they mention it in this book when they win. They're like, "Oh, we won. We've got this many points. That means we're only so far behind whoever else." Also, Neville. I love how it's their first. I have to cut you off because you keep talking before I get a chance to talk. Neville is like, he's all giddy that he wins points at the end of the year, and it's like Neville, who's never won a point in his entire year or whatever. I'm like, Neville, you're in the first year. Maybe if you were in 7th year and you hadn't won any points at all, your entire school journey, like, that would be different. But, like, you're 11 years old.
Counterpoint.
But also, like, it's
herbology. He is really good
He
at
should.
herbology. You're telling me that
still the
Professor
first year,
Sprout
though.
did not give him a single point for any of
That
his
is
knowledge.
that is a good.
He might have not gotten into his herbology groove yet, though, in the
But
first
it's
year.
in his thing that he says that his herbology grade offset his disastrous potions grades.
Yeah. So that is a good point. But I'm just thinking
He should have earned
that-
at least a point.
that, well, my thought is more of less of a points earning, but a personality berating yourself type of thing. Like, Neville, you're 11. How many 11-year-olds are going to be in a brand new school and be like, I'm going to go out of my way, I'm going to do really great on my
He
test, and
probably
I'm going to
never
earn all
wanted
these
to answer
points?
a question because he thought he would be wrong.
Me, I would sit there and be like, I don't know what the fuck is going on until I know shit's going on, and then I'll start jumping in. So,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have earned any points in that first year. Second year, I'd be like, all right, I know this, let's go.
But still, you'd think that he would have earned something.
He should have, yeah, and
Because, like,
herbology.
herbology is not just, like, book knowledge, it's practical.
Yeah, you
learning.
got you got
Be
hands
like,
on
she
work.
would be like,
Yeah.
wow, your pot looks beautiful.
That
There's not
isn't-
a
yeah.
single weed.
That is a really good point. I didn't even think about herbology.
Yeah, the whole point system.
I
doesn't
should have
make
thought
the
about it because we talked about it.
She really just likes to hate on Neville.
And
Yeah.
this is the wildest thing. If Slytherin and Gryffindor were like the last house at the end to fight each other in Quidditch and everything, then then Slytherin winning would make a heck of a lot more sense because they would have been creamed. But Ravenclaw is the final matchup usually for Gryffindor when it comes to Quidditch. They got creamed. That means that Ravenclaw should have made a crap ton of points. They had the optimal field because only one person could have caught the snitch. So they could have continued scoring, which apparently they were doing since they got Gryffindor got creamed. Then they would have been all set for winning this year and everything. You know what I mean?
Don't math.
Like, obviously, it's because the Slytherin house is the evil house at this point in time in the series and everything, that we gotta have the evil house being the one that's directly responsible for, like, they need to be the ones that are overcome. It wouldn't be as satisfying if they knocked Ravenclaw off the top spot, basically.
It's just kind of rude.
Yeah, when they haven't won either in over 7 years.
Right.
It doesn't make the celebration nearly as school-wide and everything. But, yeah, like...
Also, how did Dumbledore know that Neville got petrified? And stood up to his friends.
They have made legilimens.
Can
Yes.
Dumbledore use it?
They
Yes.
didn't even get to tell Dumbledore that Harry had gone after Quirrell. He was just like, Harry went after him, right? Okay, bye.
He has the yes.
He
He's
probably
a legilimens.
He probably saw that Neville was not with him as they were.
The twinkle in his eye is the sign that he's using legilimens. That he uses on Harry and stuff. And
That
Harry
is a good
has
theory.
gone on record in book 2 especially that he is thoroughly convinced that he can read his mind.
Yeah, because he's
Yeah, I forgot about that.
he felt like, because Dumbledore asked him several times, like, are you sure there's nothing you want to tell me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about
So
that.
like he probably got like a good chunk of like the adventure through all of them basically, and when he sat down to talk to Harry and everything, he probably already knew everything that had happened, but he figured he'd at least give Harry the ability to speak on his own behalf and everything.
That's fair.
So like yeah, like to be fair though, like Dumbledore like giving like Neville that final bump up in terms of confidence and stuff probably did a lot to send him down a different path than freaking Peter, to be honest.
Fair.
That not necessarily being down necessarily under like the suffocating presence of like Mr. Harry Potter and Hermione Granger as like being your only friends that you hang out with.
Right.
But like yeah, and of course Hagrid shows up and he's like super upset about everything and completely.
Oh, my fault.
Yeah, and it's being kind of funny is that Dumbledore probably intentionally set the situation up specifically because he knew that Hagrid wouldn't keep his mouth shut. Like, poor, like, I'll never drink again. Well, that was a lie, because I think he gets tipsy in book 3
Immediately
at
in the
least.
second book.
Really? Huh. I didn't realize he was drinking in the second one.
I think so. But you're right, definitely in the third book, because
Yeah.
Hermione has to help take care of him.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think.
he gets celebratory drunk after he realizes Buckbeak survived. In like when they're doing like the second round and everything, and they see him heading up to the castle and everything for like the midnight feast or something.
But at
He's
one point,
tipsy
Hermione
because he's
says
happy that
he dunked his whole head in the water bucket.
I thought that was
In the third book, I mean.
right. Yeah, but you were
In the
talking about
second
book 2 that he gotten drunk in that one.
He gets drunk. No, he does get drunk at the end of the school year feast when he comes back because he gets drunk enough to kiss McGonagall on the cheek.
No, that
So
was
that happened at Christmas
this
in
was the
this book,
Christmas
yep.
for this book.
I feel like he gets drunk at the end of the year party in book 2 though. But anyway,
I do have I'm not 100% certain, but if he would have gotten drunk, the perfect time was when they went to go pick him up to put him back in Azkaban.
Yeah, he might have been sloshed then.
He might have had a little bit of alcohol because he had a crossbow and was ready for a fight in a sense. And it wouldn't surprise me if knowing that Ron and Harry were in the room and everything was part of the reason he went so willingly at that point. Because we know for a fact in books like book 5, he's willing to put he's willing to put up a fight against the Aurors when they come to get him in a sense.
Yeah, but anyway.
Oh man.
I need more about this. Oh, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Molly talking to the Dursleys and everything. They don't know I can't use magic out of school. BS.
Bullshit.
Petunia suddenly starts remembering a lot of the things that she knows about the magical world about halfway through the frickin' series. Though, to be perfectly honest, she probably would have been just terrified of him because he's capable of doing shit without actually needing to cast a spell, and nobody's done anything about it yet, so why would they start now, in a sense? So, you know what? For all we know, she could have been under the impression that they changed the rules at some point.
Yeah, she doesn't keep in the magical know-how.
But, yeah. Like, the little comments and everything where, like, Harry's mischievous grin and everything, where it's just sort of setting up the idea that Harry's going to be having a very fun summer. But to those of us who've actually read ahead to the first book of the next one, it's anything but. If not, it's even more miserable in that first chapter, thanks to Dobby.
In all fairness, Petunia may not have mentioned that he couldn't use magic, because that would involve acknowledging the magic.
I've been down a rabbit hole on the internet because we were talking about the Quidditch matches and the house points. It's literally in this book. After McGonagall catches them and docks them 50 points after the dragon escapade, Harry gasped they would lose the lead he'd won in the last Quidditch match. So it is already confirmed in this book that the Quidditch points do go towards the House Cup.
So everybody should have much
there should
higher
be a
score.
lot more than 300 and 400 points.
Unless there is so much misbehaving in this bloody school that they're just losing points left and freaking right, all housewise.
But not as much as you think, because if you go to wizardingworld.com, let me put my teeth in and talk. It's called the Handy Guide to Hogwarts House Points, or something along those lines. It's an infographic that literally breaks down out of the top named characters who won the most points, who lost the most points,
like
what
all the
teacher
points
awarded
instances.
most, what house, like what teacher.
And there's a lot more points that should have been around.
Well, it didn't relate specifically to that, but it doesn't line up. Like, the point system just doesn't make sense.
That's true, because, like...
It's one of those things that, as a
not
writer,
fleshed
that
out.
would drive me up a wall. Is if
How
that
many
wasn't
points is the
consistent.
snitch worth?
150 points?
Right,
Yeah.
so, like, that's the entire amount of points that they lost.
Alone.
Yeah.
And they
Not to
won
mention every
multiple
time that
Quidditch games.
So there's another 150 he gets for the Hufflepuff match as well.
Yeah, and not to mention every time the Quaffle goes through,
That's 10
another
points.
10 points.
Yeah, because like they were going out of like I said, there's 300 right there, right off the bat, basically, and that accounts for almost all of their points that they have. So unless the teachers are inhumanly stingy with their point applications and stuff along those lines, which we know they're not, based off of how willing they are to give, like Hermione 10 points just for answering a question in some of the classes.
I think this is the only book where it's mentioned how many points each house has at the end. I don't believe it's mentioned again. Don't quote me, because I don't have a great memory. It's been a very long time.
They announced the winner in book 2, and I don't think they mentioned the House Cup at all in any of the other books.
But they do say, so that infographic or whatever does show how many points were awarded or lost in total per book. But it's
by mention.
So it just generalizes it, like, okay, in book 1 there was this many points deducted or this many points awarded, and I didn't read it. I was really just trying to figure out the Quidditch thing, but 2 and 6, I think 2 and 5 have like 400 points awarded as like their totals.
I just realized something. That might be part of the reason Fred and George are so well liked, despite the fact they supposedly lose their house a lot of points. If they've been on the Quidditch team for a really long time and then have been very good at their Quidditch game that have helped them get points,
they can probably afford to.
They could afford losing points in houses and stuff because they're like, well, it's the twins. They'll make it back up during the next Quidditch match, basically.
They're only losing their own points.
Yeah.
Plus, Percy probably wins half them back.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, yeah, couple of minor details. We were listening to the Jim Dale version of the audiobook and everything. We, basically, going through one of the first, probably one of, not a first edition, obviously, but one of the earlier copies of the edition.
It should say in here.
Like, this one was given to me by a friend, a friend's older sister who was originally gifted it during her 6th grade.
I still want to know where my copy is.
I think you got rid of it, to be honest, because we only had, me and my wife both had our full sets and everything, but she kind of went through, we were like, we don't need a full set of the Harry Potter books and everything, so it wouldn't surprise me if the reason we have my book 1 is because your book 1 was in such worse
It was in very bad condition. It does say First Scholastic Trade Paperback Printing, September 1999, is the edition we have here.
Fair enough. But, yeah, we didn't... Oh, that's one thing we missed out on that we could have done over the course of the book, is talking about the illustrations and the artwork and stuff for each chapter a little bit.
Oh, we'll have to remember that.
We can remember that for the next book.
We could do a mini podcast going over each illustration in this one, and then we can just remember to do it in the next ones. I've had a thought that I keep wanting to say, but then you won't shut up for 5 seconds. Mitchell. if you're ill at the end of he's counting, I'm going to smack him. If you're ill at the end of the school year and you're not recovered to make the train ride home, what do? Because in this one, and here's why
Transfer you to St. Mungo's?
Well, in this one, Harry's like, I get to go to the feast, don't I? And she's like, Dumbledore said you can. And she, like, doesn't, she's begrudging. But, like...
They keep you at school?
What do you do? Like, what if he wasn't well enough to go to the feast and go home?
They'd send him on a later train?
Possible.
They'd set up a port key?
Side-along apparition.
Bless you.
Thank you. But to be
also transfer you to St. Mungo's?
Can you imagine, like, Madame Pomfrey's gonna be like, I'm ready to go bathe on the Italian coast or something for the school.
Second to last day of school. Mortally injured student, like,
she's like,
motherfucker! Damn it! Not mortally, because that would mean that they died, but, you know.
Like, motherfucker, there goes my summer vacation.
To be fair, I don't think Harry would complain about spending his summer vacation.
Oh, Harry, absolutely not. He wants to stay there, but, like...
Oh, I've got some magical
Pomfrey, who just still wants to have her Italian vacation. Bullshit you are, Potter. Get the fuck out.
Get on the train.
Look, man, I still love one of the theories that, like... Right, obviously it wouldn't happen, but like, if McGonagall had raised Harry and she's just during the summer wandering around Hogwarts in her cat form, just a little black kitten, because she's like, Potter kitten. All right, let's go.
Immediately, Animagus kitten, Harry Potter. What if? You know, that would be.
That's not what I interpreted. I interpreted her trying to keep a toddler in line, and there's just toddler Harry chasing after a cat.
Oh no! I was saying she just turned Harry. She transfigured Harry into a kitten.
Transfiguration.
Like, all right, let's go, and just walks off in her cat form.
Kind of like the Sword and the Stone, Disney movie and everything.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that'd be kind of a clever way to teach people shit. But my
more just so she could keep an eye on him and do her patrols.
But my thought process being is, if we really wanted to, I would love to do some what-if theorizing. Like, what if the Harry Potter Sorcerer's Stone or something like that? We don't have to do this now or anything. It could be some sort of, like, special chapter, like with what we did with the art and everything.
Yeah,
but
later.
As a bit of a fan fiction writer myself and stuff along those lines, I would love to bounce ideas of, like, what if a couple of Want for Nail events? How would this book be different if such and such happened? You know what I mean? Like, what if we could do a Girl Who Lived version, basically? Okay, how would Harry being a female impact this story specifically?
I feel like
what if Harry was in Slytherin?
That's another one that's also very popular
some what
online.
ifs, we should probably, like, game plan. I'm like, all right, so we're going to talk about what if Harry was a girl? What if Harry was in Slytherin? What if Harry was raised by McGonagall? What if Harry was raised by Sirius? Like,
what if all
just,
of
like,
these
list
at
them.
once?
Like,
what if all of these at once?
I would love to do that so we could bounce ideas back and forth and really, like, because to be perfectly honest, that would be a pretty fun concept and everything, and I love my Want for a Nail stories. Okay, I keep using it, I should explain. Want for a Nail is a type of, it's a trope name for a Superman story where the Kents get a nail in their car and have to swerve off of the road in order to change the tire, missing Superman's spaceship landing in the cornfield, where he ends up getting picked up by an Amish family and never leaving the farm, and the world continues on with all of the other superheroes arriving and everything, and it's basically a world without Superman in a sense. And I love theorizing about that to kind of, like, see how I feel a story would logically go if it changed. The Girl Who Lived is obviously an interesting one because it automatically changes one very important thing. How does Snape handle the daughter of Lily Evans coming to school? And do you think that would alter how he views the kid? Do you if Harry comes in still black-haired and everything, still looking like James and everything, but is a girl?
This is her father's daughter.
Hard to say.
Okay, now here's that really could drive a thing or two. Like, what if male Harry looked more like Lily? What if he completely took up after his mother in terms of appearances? Would that impact it differently?
Yeah, because it'd be ick.
It would 100% be ick.
to be fair, we
But-
don't like Snape to begin with, but it's a good example to really get the gears going.
That's right. We don't like Snape. We like Alan
Like,
Rickman.
what
I was-
if Malfoy had some bloody frickin' tact, and actually, when they met and stuff along those lines, he actually was like, oh, okay, yeah, like, Slytherin's like the best house. It's for the people who want to be the best. It's for the people, the go-getters, the leaders of the future and everything, people who want to learn how to do magic and stuff along those lines. And Harry gets kind of stuck on being in Slytherin.
Hell yeah.
What if Harry found out, like, realizing that he's like, oh, I talked to a snake earlier. Obviously, if they're, like, the people that are trying to be the best at everything, and I want to be, like, I like,
This is
and
clearly where I belong.
I can talk to snakes, obviously that's my house and everything. How does that impact his relationship with Ron? How does that impact his relationship with Hermione and sharing a house with Malfoy, who he ends up hating the guts of basically later on, or like, you know what I mean?
That's fair.
Well-
Also, I have to point this out, or else it's driving me crazy in my head. The want for a nail thing, I'm pretty sure is a poem about a kingdom being lost for the want of a nail. Basically, a horse.
Oh, like a horseshoe nail?
Yeah.
Want for a nail poem.
Oh. For
The
want
shoe
of
was
a nail,
lost.
the shoe was lost. For want of a shoe, the horse was lost. For want of a horse, the rider was lost. Okay, so
Yeah.
probably it's just relating.
It's a proverb, apparently.
So
Oh, it's a
probably, but for
proverb.
like
Okay,
TV
not a
tropes,
poem.
it's probably relating more
Yeah.
to like fandoms.
I'm
that
just
people
like-
But the
can figure out
idea
more.
behind it still actually works, because if the person on a horse needed to
If
be at a
he
specific
didn't need his
point,
nail, if they didn't lose the nail, then the kingdom would have been won. Yeah.
it's
I'm just saying that,
the
like,
nail
this is-
being the
this
reason they're
proverb-
late.
I'm just saying that the
for-
proverb is older than Superman.
The story itself is called Want for a Nail.
Yeah,
And it wouldn't be surprised if
fair.
it's based off of this. But the nail is still the titular thing
No,
that changes the events.
I'm aware. I just had to
And so
call
it's,
out that this
you know,
was older than Superman.
It's still... One, I didn't say it was. I was referring to the story because that's
I
the
know.
oldest version of it.
Look,
I will
ADHD
defend
in my brain told me
myself,
I had
damn
to
it.
say it.
I will defend myself, damn it.
But anyway, I think we're wrapping
I
this
think
up
we've-
'cause I'm very sleepy.
Okay,
Said-
yeah,
said
Kimmy's been up for a
everything.
while, so we're gonna
I'm
let her
getting
go.
tired.
Regrettably.
24 hours and
Oh
counting.
my gosh.
You know what? No, let's start book 2 right now.
Hell no. Goodbye.
How about the movie then?
No,
No.
listen, no. Just because you are not diagnosed ADHD, because we're not 100% certain, doesn't mean that us two ADHD bitches can handle that. We're tired. My meds are done.
Okay, Kimmy, plug your shit.
Luna's Creation Corner on all social media.
Brandy, plug your shit.
Brandywine Stitches on YouTube and Hockeytown Candle Co. on
Mitchell,
everything
plug
else.
your shit. Sorry for interrupting.
All right, go.
Mitchell,
Cole
don't
Sanders,
interrupt.
Twitch. I'll do what I want, damn it. This is my computer.
So until next time, keep your wands at the ready.
Don't
and
forget
join
to-
us for the movies.
Don't forget to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. We'll catch
Ding
you.
dong.
The witch is dead?
We'll catch you next time.
Alright, hold on. We gotta go burn a witch. Be right back.